You want to hear a truth that most people won't say out loud? Your past is holding you back. It's a weight around your neck, dragging you down, and you're letting it happen every single day. You're letting the mistakes, the failures, the pain, the regrets, and the memories of what went wrong in your life control who you are right now. It's time to take that weight and throw it off. Forget the past. Forget the excuses. Forget the times you stumbled, the times you fell flat on your face, the times you thought you couldn't go on. I know it's easy to sit there and tell yourself that your past is your story, that it defines you, that you are who you were. But that's the lie you tell yourself to stay comfortable. It's the lie that lets you stay in your safe little bubble. Do you want to keep living in the past? Do you want to keep repeating the same mistakes, playing the same victim, and looking back at every failure as a reason you can't move forward? Or do you want to get real? Do you want to face the hard truth? Your past has nothing to do with your future. Nothing. The moment you start thinking you're defined by what happened to you or what you didn't do is the moment you decide to stay stuck. It's time to step up, take control, and stop using the past as a crutch. The only moment that matters is right now, today. What you're doing today is what's going to define you. The choices you make today are what will carry you forward. Every second you spend looking back is a second wasted. And if you keep holding on to the pain, the regrets, the what ifs, then you'll never move forward. You'll always be stuck in that same loop. You want to talk about real power? Real power is in your ability to shut out the noise of the past and push forward with everything you got. Real power is in how much you can take, how much you can endure, and how much you can endure and how much you can grow by focusing on the now and the future. Your potential is limitless, but only if you choose to leave the past behind. You've got to get uncomfortable with letting go. You've got to get comfortable with the idea of leaving the old version of you behind, the version that allowed circumstances to define them. The new version of you, the one who pushes through the pain, who wakes up every day with a mission, who doesn't give a damn about the past. That's the version of you that's going to change the game. So stop holding on to what doesn't serve you. Stop letting your failures define you. The past is done. The future is where your power lies. Get to work. Your past doesn't define who you are today. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that your history shapes your identity, but that's a lie. Every mistake, every failure, every setback you've experienced is part of a journey, but it doesn't have to be the lens through which you view your future. The weight of your past can easily become a heavy burden, pulling you back every time you try to move forward. You might tell yourself, I failed before, so I'm probably going to fail again, or this happened to me, so it defines me. Those are the thoughts that keep you stuck, replaying the same narrative over and over, unable to break free. But the reality is that your past is only a series of events that have already happened, and no amount of dwelling on them will change their outcome. The only thing that matters is how you choose to carry yourself from this moment forward. Every second that you spend looking backward, wishing things had been different, or mourning the mistakes you've made, is a second you waste from shaping the person you are becoming. We all have a past, and some of those past experiences are painful. It's natural to have moments of regret, of wishing you could go back and do things differently. But if you keep identifying with those experiences, you're not allowing yourself to evolve. You're not allowing yourself the freedom to become the person you're meant to be. You are not the sum of your failures, nor are you the product of your past circumstances. You are who you choose to become, and you make that choice every day. Living in the past is like driving a car while constantly looking in the rearview mirror. You might be able to see where you've been, but it doesn't tell you where you're going. In fact, it distracts you from what's ahead and keeps you focused on what's already behind you, which is a dangerous way to live. The future requires you to look forward, to learn from the past without letting it control you. The person you are today is shaped by the decisions you make right now, not the ones you made years ago. And you have the power to make better decisions today. You might have experienced trauma, failure, or rejection, and those things can be tough to shake off. But you must realize that those events don't define your worth. What defines you is your ability to move past them, to learn from them, and to rise above them. It's easy to let your past be a crutch, to use it as a reason for why you can't succeed. It's easy to say, I've tried before and I wasn't good enough, but those are the same thoughts that keep you stuck in the cycle of defeat. The truth is, your past was just a chapter, not the entire book. You're still writing your story, and it's not over yet. Letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting it. It doesn't mean pretending that the struggles you faced didn't happen. It simply means acknowledging that those experiences don't control you. It means recognizing that you have the power to rise above them, to learn, and to grow from them. Every mistake is a lesson, every failure a stepping stone. The key is to stop identifying with the past, to stop allowing it to dictate your future. When you learn to release the past, you free yourself from its grip. You stop allowing it to be the reason you can't move forward. Instead of seeing your failures as a reflection of who you are, you start to see them as a part of your process of becoming stronger. You stop allowing the voice in your head that says you failed before, so why try again to control you? Instead, you embrace the truth that failure is not the end, but just a part of the journey towards success. The person you are becoming is much greater than any mistake you've made. The past is a memory. It's done. It can't be changed. What's important is what you do now, in this moment, and how you choose to use your past to fuel your future. Your past might have been filled with challenges, but it doesn't have to hold you hostage. The power to change your life is within you right now, and that's what matters most. Don't let the past define you. Let it teach you, let it strengthen you, and let it go. You are who you choose to be today, and the future is where your true potential lies. Every time you use the past as an excuse, you're robbing yourself of the power to move forward. It's so easy to fall into the trap of believing that the things that happened to you in the past, whether it's failures, mistakes, or missed opportunities, define who you are and what you're capable of now. The truth is, when you rely on the past as a reason for not moving forward, you're giving away your power. You're allowing a series of events that are already over to control your present and future. You might find yourself saying things like, I've tried and failed before, so why try again? Or I'm just not good enough, but these are nothing more than excuses, and excuses will never get you where you want to go. The moment you start using the past as an excuse, you're surrendering to it. You're telling yourself that because of what happened in your past, you're somehow incapable of achieving something different, something better today. The real problem isn't the past, it's how you've allowed it to influence your mindset. You've allowed it to dictate your worth and your potential, and that's where you go wrong. The past doesn't get to decide your future unless you let it. The danger of making excuses based on past failures is that it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You begin to believe that because things didn't work out the way you hoped before, they won't work out again. You're telling yourself that the same outcome is inevitable, and when you believe that, you stop trying. You give up before you even start, because the past has convinced you that you're destined to fail again. But that's the trap. The past is not a predictor of the future unless you choose to let it be. You need to realize that no matter how many times you've failed or how many mistakes you've made, they don't have to define you. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, not a reason to quit. Every setback is a chance to regroup, adjust, and push forward with more wisdom. But if you keep using your past as an excuse for why you can't move forward, you're never going to get to that point of growth. Excuses keep you small, and small thinking will never get you where you want to go. You have to make the decision to stop allowing the past to hold you back. That's a choice. It's easy to stay in your comfort zone, where your past mistakes and failures feel like safe explanations for why you're not pushing yourself harder. It's easy to say, I'm not good enough, or it's too late for me, but those are just words you use to avoid taking action. They're convenient and they allow you to stay in the same place without the pressure of having to change. But that's not living, it's just existing. The moment you stop making excuses based on the past, you take back control, you take back your power. You stop being a prisoner of what happened before, and instead, you start creating your own story. You start recognizing that every challenge, every failure And every moment of pain is just another part of your growth process. The key is to change your mindset. You need to stop using your past as a crutch and start using it as fuel. I think about it, if you look at every failure as an opportunity to improve, you can never truly fail. Failure doesn't mean you're not good enough, it means you're learning what doesn't work so you can find out what does. But if you keep using the past to justify your lack of progress, you'll never get the chance to test your limits and see how far you can really go. You're just going to stay stuck in the same loop, unable to break free from the excuses that keep you comfortable in your own mediocrity. You can't afford to let the past define your future. You can't let it be the reason you don't take action, the reason you don't give your all, the reason you don't push yourself further. The past may be a part of who you are, but it doesn't have to dictate your life's direction. The only thing that should matter is what you're doing right now and what you're going to do next. What matters is that you don't let the past trap you in a cycle of excuses. It's up to you to take that first step forward, to stop looking back and to stop allowing past failures to control your future. The only thing that matters is right now. The present moment is the only place where you have any real power. The future hasn't happened yet, and the past is already gone, so all you can truly control is what you do in this moment. Yet, so many people are trapped in the cycle of looking back or obsessing over what's to come, and in doing so, they miss the potential of the present. You've got to understand that today is where your real power lies. Your choices today will define who you are tomorrow. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made or how much you've been through. What matters is what you do with the time you have right now. Most people get stuck thinking that their past failures will somehow repeat themselves or that the future is too overwhelming to tackle. They become paralyzed by what they've already gone through, or they become anxious about what's ahead, and both of these mindsets hold them back from doing the work that's necessary to achieve anything. The only way you're going to get anywhere in life is to stop letting the past dictate your actions or letting fear of the future paralyze you. The present moment is where the magic happens, and if you're always looking back or forward, you'll miss it. You don't need to know every step ahead of you. In fact, you don't even need to have the full picture figured out. What you need is to focus on what's in front of you right now. The reason most people fail to achieve what they want is because they're always waiting for the perfect time, or they're too caught up in their past mistakes to take action. They spend so much time in their head calculating the risks, worrying about what went wrong before, and worrying about what might happen next that they fail to take the first step forward. And the first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most important. You can't control what happened in the past, and you can't control the future, but you can control what you do in this moment. Every action you take today, every decision you make, every step you push through the discomfort, these things add up to create your future. Stop thinking that you need to have it all figured out. All you need to do is take the first step, then the next, and keep going. The more you focus on the present moment and the actions you can take right now, the more momentum you build and the more progress you'll see. It's easy to get lost in the idea that the future is too daunting, that the climb is too steep, that the work required is too much to handle. But that's all mental noise. You don't need to know how it's all going to turn out, and you don't need to know every step ahead. You only need to focus on the step in front of you. By putting your energy into the present and taking the necessary action, you're setting yourself up for success in ways you can't always predict. The future is the result of the actions you take today, not the worries you have about what's coming. The same goes for worrying about past failures. You may have stumbled before, and that can make it tempting to look back and dwell on those moments. But the past is a place of lessons, not of living. Yes, you can learn from it, but you shouldn't live in it. What you need to do is take what you learned from the past and apply it to what you're doing right now. The mistakes you made yesterday don't matter if you don't take action today. You can choose to stay stuck in your past mistakes, or you can choose to move forward and use what you've learned to build a better future. It's the present where you have control. You can control your focus, your actions, and your effort in this moment. And it's these decisions that will shape your life going forward. When you stop worrying about what's behind you and what's ahead of you, you free yourself to really live and make progress. You stop letting time slip through your fingers. Each day is a new opportunity to be better, to push harder, and to work towards your goals, and that's all that matters. The moment you realize that the present is the only place where you can take action is the moment everything changes. This is where the power lies. The moment is now. What you do today is what will shape tomorrow, and you have the power to decide how you want to use it. Every single second you spend focused on what's coming or what's already gone is a second wasted. If you truly want to change, to grow, to succeed, you have to start with the present. Because right now, in this moment, you have everything you need to begin. Letting go of the past is never easy, but it's essential if you want to grow. And growth never happens in the comfort zone. We are creatures of habit. And the old version of ourselves, the one who holds on to past regrets, past pains, and past mistakes, feels familiar and comfortable. It's almost like a safety blanket offering us the illusion that we are in control. The truth, though, is that this comfort zone is a prison that traps us from reaching our true potential. The only way to grow, to truly evolve, is by getting uncomfortable with change, especially when it means leaving behind the old version of yourself that's weighed down by the past. When you let go of the past, you're choosing to confront discomfort head on. You're choosing to take responsibility for your life instead of letting the events of the past dictate your present and future. Every step you take into the unknown feels uncomfortable, but it's through that discomfort that real progress is made. Comfort is a killer of dreams because it convinces you that where you are is good enough that you don't need to push yourself anymore. But if you want to achieve something greater, if you want to be better than you were yesterday, you need to challenge yourself to step into discomfort and leave behind the familiar. Getting comfortable with discomfort means embracing the fear of uncertainty, the fear of failure, and the fear of change. When you face these fears, you take back the control that fear has stolen from you. The moment you realize that the discomfort you're feeling is actually a sign that you're pushing boundaries, that you're breaking free from the constraints of the past, you begin to see it as a sign of progress. You begin to reframe that discomfort as a necessary part of growth. So many people stay stuck in their old ways because they refuse to let go of the past. They're afraid to face the truth that their old habits, their old ways of thinking, and their old version of themselves aren't serving them anymore. But in order to level up, you need to shed those outdated layers and reinvent yourself. You need to get comfortable with the idea that who you were yesterday does not have to dictate who you are today. You can evolve, you can grow, but you have to be willing to let go of the past and step into the uncomfortable process of becoming something greater. The truth is, change doesn't come from staying where you are. It doesn't come from doing what you've always done. Growth comes from stepping outside your comfort zone and confronting the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding, the doubts, the insecurities, and the fears that have been holding you back. If you want to become someone who takes risks, someone who pushes their limits, someone who refuses to settle for mediocrity, you have to be willing to leave behind what's comfortable. You have to be willing to embrace discomfort as part of the process. The process of letting go of the past is painful. There's no doubt about it. But it's also liberating. It's the key to unlocking your full potential. Think of it like peeling back layers of an onion. The more layers you remove, the closer you get to the core of who you really are. Each layer represents a version of you that is tied to the past, to mistakes and regrets, to things that no longer serve you. The more you peel away, the more space you create for the new version of yourself to emerge, the one who is ready to take on the future without the baggage of the past. When you let go of the old version of yourself, you make room for the new. It's like clearing out the clutter in your mind, in your life, so you can focus on what really matters. You start to realize that your old habits, your old way of thinking, and the emotional baggage you've been carrying around have no place in your future. You can't move forward while constantly looking backward, and you can't reach new heights while clinging to the comfort of who you once were. You have to embrace change, even when it feels uncomfortable, because that's where the real growth happens. The more you get comfortable with discomfort, the more you'll see it as a necessary part of your evolution. You'll stop running from it and start seeking it out, knowing that every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more resilient. It's through discomfort that you begin to develop the mental toughness you need to overcome any obstacle in your way. You start to see challenges as stepping stones, not as barriers. You start to see your potential not as something you hope for, but as something you are actively creating with every decision you make. And the first step to creating that potential is letting go of the past. Real strength comes from your ability to move forward, to leave the past behind, and to keep pushing no matter what obstacles are in your path. The power you need to achieve greatness isn't found in the comforts of what you already know, or in holding on to the weight of past mistakes and disappointments. It's found in your ability to look ahead, embrace the challenges that await, and push through the discomfort and adversity that stand between you and your goals. When you start to focus on the future and stop letting the past define you, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities that you never imagined were within your reach. The future is where your true potential lies. It's where you get the chance to rewrite your story, to start fresh and take all the lessons you've learned from your past and apply them in a way that will help you become the best version of yourself. The future is where the opportunities for growth, success, and change lie, but only if you choose to go after them. If you keep looking back at everything that went wrong or the mistakes you made, you'll never see the chances that are right in front of you. You'll stay stuck in a cycle, unable to break free from the limitations that you've placed on yourself because of what happened in the past. You have to start thinking about the future as a place where anything is possible. The future is a blank canvas and you hold the paintbrush. Every action you take today, no matter how small, builds the foundation for the person you will become tomorrow. Every decision you make, every move you make forward, pushes you closer to the life you want to create. The more you focus on the future, the more clarity you'll have in your actions. The more you push toward what you want, the more you'll start to see results. The future becomes a motivator, not something to be feared, because you've realized that it's within your power to shape it. Moving forward means letting go of the idea that your past mistakes somehow determine your future outcomes. Too many people get stuck thinking that because they failed once or twice, or even more, they're somehow destined to fail again. They use their past failures as evidence that they can't succeed in the future. But that's just a lie. Failure isn't permanent. It's a stepping stone, not a death sentence. When you see failure as a lesson, as an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more prepared for the next challenge, you free yourself from the fear of what's to come. You stop being paralyzed by what might happen and start focusing on what you can make happen. Your potential is limitless, but only if you stop limiting yourself. Every moment you spend obsessing over what went wrong in the past is a moment you're robbing yourself of the opportunity to move forward. The future is where you'll find the success, the growth, and the fulfillment that you're seeking, but it requires you to stop being held back by your past. It requires you to release the chains that you've wrapped around yourself because of previous failures or mistakes, and trust that you can make the future what you want it to be. Think of it this way: you can't drive a car while constantly looking in the rearview mirror. If you're always focused on what's behind you, you're going to crash. The same applies to your life. If you're constantly fixated on what happened in the past, you'll miss all the opportunities ahead of you. The future is the road you're driving toward. It's the direction you should be focusing on, not the things you've already left behind. You need to use the lessons of the past to fuel you, not hinder you. The past is a reference point, not a roadmap. It's a reminder of what you've overcome, not a reason to hold yourself back. The moment you begin to focus on the future with an open mind and an unwavering belief in your ability to create change, that's when the real power kicks in. You begin to see challenges as stepping stones, not roadblocks. You begin to understand that every setback is simply a part of the journey, and with each step forward, you grow stronger. The future holds everything you've ever wanted, but it's up to you to step into it with everything you've got. The only thing stopping you is your own willingness to keep moving, to keep striving, and to keep believing that what's ahead of you is far greater than anything that's behind you. The future is waiting, and it's yours to shape. The process of letting go of the past is not just about releasing regrets or painful memories. It's about the mental shift that occurs when you choose to stop being defined by what's already happened. It's about making the conscious decision to free yourself from the weight of yesterday's burdens so you can move forward with a clear, focused mind. The fact is, the past can hold you hostage. It can tie you down with guilt, shame, or anger over things you cannot change. But in the same way that a weight holds you back physically, the emotional weight of the past can keep you stuck mentally, preventing you from reaching your true potential. Letting go is not something that happens overnight. It's a process, and it takes time, effort, and determination. But every time you choose to let go of something that no longer serves you, you create space for something better to enter your life. You create the mental clarity that allows you to focus on what truly matters. When you let go of your attachment to the past, you stop allowing it to control your thoughts, your emotions, and your decisions. The past is just that it's over. It no longer has any power over you unless you allow it to. The mental toughness required to let go of the past doesn't mean forgetting it, nor does it mean pretending that it didn't happen. It means choosing to shift your perspective and use the past as a tool for growth, not as a crutch for inaction. Each painful memory or mistake is a lesson if you allow it to be. If you keep reliving it, if you keep attaching yourself to it, you are not learning from it. Instead, you're letting it hold you back, keeping you in a constant state of mental and emotional paralysis. Real strength comes from the decision to leave those past moments where they belong behind you, so you can step into the future with a renewed sense of purpose. Letting go of the past is about acknowledging that you are not who you were yesterday. You are who you choose to be today. The past does not define you unless you let it. Every time you choose to focus on the present, every time you let go of the emotional baggage you've been carrying, you are reclaiming your power. You are making a conscious decision to move forward, to be the person you want to become, and not the person you were. You stop identifying with your past mistakes or regrets and instead start identifying with your ability to change, to grow, and to achieve what you want in life. When you decide to let go of the past, you begin to break free from the cycle of self-doubt and negativity. The voices that tell you you're not good enough, the voices that remind you of every mistake you've made, and the voices that convince you that your past failures will define your future, all of that fades away when you choose to let go. You stop giving weight to those thoughts, and you start giving weight to the belief that you can succeed. You start focusing on your goals, on the steps you need to take to get there, and on the vision you have for your future. The power to change your life is within you, and it begins with the decision to let go of the past. It starts with the realization that your potential is not limited by what you've done, but by what you choose to do moving forward. The past may have shaped you in some ways, but it doesn't have to control you. When you release the past, you make room for a future that's full of opportunity, possibility, and growth. The past is no longer the anchor holding you in place. It becomes the stepping stone that propels you toward the person you're meant to be. Letting go also means that you no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstance. The past might have been painful, unfair, or unjust, but you are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by how you choose to respond. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeing yourself as someone who was wrong, someone who has been held back by life's circumstances. But the moment you let go of that mindset, you break free from the chains that bind you. You realize that you have the power to change your narrative, to become the hero of your own story, and to take charge of your future. The real power comes when you realize that the past doesn't have to dictate your path forward. When you stop allowing the events that shaped you to control you, you create the freedom to become someone new. Someone stronger, someone more resilient, and someone who refuses to let anything, including the past, hold them back. The choice to let go is yours, and it's the most empowering decision you can make. Because once you let go, you free yourself to be the person you were always meant to be. You unlock your true potential and finally begin to live the life you've always imagined. Letting go of the past is the key to unlocking your full potential. It's about freeing yourself from old regrets, mistakes, and emotional baggage so you can move forward with clarity and purpose. By focusing on the present and future, you empower yourself to grow, change, and create the life you desire. The power to transform is within you, and it starts with the decision to leave the past behind.